Welcome to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain your week. Got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. Please send in a question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the green lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we're gonna hit you with them stone cold facts and allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to Masters of the Nerdiverse. Bienvenidos. You can always find this intergalactic virus of a podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. And one day, our great-great-grandchildren will be able to bear witness when we're available on Spotify. But until that day, I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. And with me, as always, is my supernatural co-host,
Winter Sturvin. I'm the Olivia Munn to your white guy host.
Damn, he doesn't even get a name. It's Kevin Pereira, man.
Oh, Kevin Pereira.
I don't think he's white. I think isn't he like Greek or something?
Shows
or
you how much
Italian?
I've actually. I didn't have cable at the time that show was on.
Isn't it sad that the only thing I remember about Attack of the Show is Bustus, and that's when Sarah Underwood dressed like a superhero?
That's sad and perverted.
I'm sorry. This is what my brain decided to store from the 10 years that show was on, or something like that. And I remember one more thing where Kevin Pereira dressed up like Yanni, but his name was Placide Deleu. He would stare real deep into the camera and play a flute. He would play like the Ocarina of Time.
I'm going to say it now. That was the golden age of nerd culture. I
remember I loved G4 as a kid, man. Like that, I just left it on because it would play. Remember, what was it called? Cinematech, where they would just play video game trailers all day.
I think so, yeah.
And X-Play was a huge one with Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was a good channel, dude. And then it became all cops and we filled it with bullshit until it died. Literally filled it up to its throat in crap, and then it died.
What, you don't like Bar Rescue?
Oh my!
Wait, what's this on Spike? I can't remember.
No, how did it go? G4 became G4 Tech TV. That was the beginning of the end, and then G4 Tech TV turned into like it didn't turn into Spike. It would turn into like the GQ network.
Oh no!
Like
okay.
And it just kept subtracting video game stuff. And it was the most painful thing ever, man. I was just like, oh no, they're killing my channel. I would give anything for a rebirth of G4, but I guess G4 became Machinima.
H5.
You know what I mean? Okay. H5. I know. Q2.
Yep.
G2. That's a Gatorade. How you doing, man? How's your week been so far?
I've been doing great. I have an update on the Nicolas Cage watch. Nice. I watched the classic Face Off, and I had a different reaction to it than I normally did. This was the first time I actually fast forward through parts of it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And like after listening to like how did this get made, trash it in an early episode, or like not trash it but like point things out to it about it,
right.
Like the whole thing about the hand and the face.
I super hate that.
Yeah, it's like, why did they add that?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of real weird questions about that movie. Like the thing that always makes me stuck is the super jail with the electronic boots that are magnetized to the floor.
Right.
I would never get that part.
Or like,
it is weird.
They explored like having sex with his wife. Why did that become part of like, why did you have to go there?
That's such a formulative moment of the movie. You have to know that their vengeance is deep because Castor Troy actually made love to what's his face's wife. You have to know that happened,
Right.
and he has to know that it happened. That movie's so dumb. I can eat a peach for hours. All right, I can eat peach.
Yes, and I liked how when they switched roles, they were still trying to play like the other character or something. Or like it was like
right?
Nicolas Cage trying to be John Travolta.
And John Travolta trying to be Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage. It's so bad. I loved Face Off is one of those movies that you just make people watch it, whether they want to or not. You just say, you know what? I'm holding you guys hostage. We're watching Face Off. There's no escape. No escape. And then you get stunned, gun, headbutted. Oh, man. Face Off. I don't know why when I think of Face Off, I think of that scene where Nicolas Cage gets thrown into the turbine and he's like spinning like a toy.
Yes.
So
I love the gunfighting scenes where it's like bam, 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 circular flip, bam, bam,
dubs, circular flip, dubs, bang, bang, pew, pew, guns.
Yes. Oh, that John Woo, the Chinese Quentin Tarantino. Okay.
Oh man, it's funny enough. Like Quentin Tarantino is the American John Woo. There we go. Man. Yes, sir. Other than torment yourself with Face Off, what else did you do?
I played some Fortnite. I'm getting better at it. I'll be the residential Fortnite expert.
Okay, because I'm not touching it.
Yeah, what I need to do, as a job that actually pays money, is become like, you know how there's sports analysts. Like, do you know the sports analyst that I just discovered called Stephen A. Smith?
Oh, I hate us.
I need to become the Stephen A. Smith of video game analysis.
There's enough video game journalists that are hated. Become a nice one. Be one that's loved. Don't be the Stephen A. Smith of anything, Doug.
But I love it. I love how much like he is getting. Like, I've never even heard of this guy before, but I just clicked on a clip of him, like, trash-talking Shaq for saying something stupid. And it's like, I don't know what they're talking about, but I love it.
Stephen A. Smith, and here's the thing. There was a moment in my life where I would wake up watching SportsCenter, and there'd be Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, and they would just talk about football season and basketball season. And Stephen A. is the most uptight, pompous ass on in sports history. But it's so captivating. Like, it's so.
You didn't like his rants about weed?
The weed.
Yeah.
I can't say
you can
that,
get
man.
There's like several compilation videos of him talking about weed. And I love it because after you watch 10 of them, you're like, okay, I understand his position. Or like, I love his, I love it. Like, there's another compilation of him talking about Kwame Brown.
Oh yeah, he loves Kwame Brown. A good section of his career was bragging on Kwame Brown and how garbage he was. Oh, Kwame Brown was the worst Laker.
So it's like if I can like be a Stephen A. Smith mixed in with a Joey Styles of ECW, I'd be golden. Golden.
Let me ask you a question. Did you get to play as the Mad Titan Thanos?
No.
Did you get that?
I got into Fortnite after that's no longer in the game.
No more Thanos? Oh, no.
All right. You go play your Monster Hunter. How about that for the fifth time?
I can't even talk because I'm like, my soul belongs to Monster Hunter. So, and I've downloaded Fortnite. I just don't play it. It's one of those games that you just have to play on keyboard, man. Like, do you play on keyboard?
I think the controller is the best layout for it, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Really? Because the building section of it confused me, and I kept getting blown up. Like, I couldn't build fast enough.
Yeah, it's a learning process. It has a longer learning curve than other games, I would say, or like a bigger.
It's like juggling.
Is it bigger or longer learning curve?
I would say learning in itself is not quantifiable by weight. It's more
Okay, you can be the Skip Bayless of this podcast. You just
I don't want to be the Skip Bayless of anything, dude. I despise both of them equally, but for different reasons.
You can be Shaq, and I'll be
the Shannon Sharp,
and I'll be Charles Barkley.
Oh no! Don't be Charles Barkley, dude. We gotta move on, man, because you keep digging.
I've just been watching. I'm like discovering all these sports shows. Like, hey, have you guys heard of this ESPN show called First Take? Like, yes, it's been around for years, but like,
oh, been around for years. Yeah, man. Oh my goodness! So that's what you did with your week, is that you watched Face Off and
Stephen A. Smith compilation videos, as well as Shaq Charles Barkley fight compilations.
Yeah, those guys bicker like two.
And I love it.
Those dudes. And I love it.
I'm the type of guy that watches British Parliament videos on C-SPAN, just to let you know.
Just old, tired people arguing for hours.
Will the gentleman on the left please tell the Prime Minister? I don't know.
Tell your Prime Minister that he can get wanted, you saucy bastard. And they're like, oh.
But how was your week? That's the important part.
My week. No, yours was the important part. My week was weird and unsettling. So I did pretty much two things this week. I went and saw Deadpool 2 with my video movie it has. And no spoilers, of course, but movies like that, it's hard to spoil because you kind of already know what's going to happen. Deadpool's going to Deadpool. It was funny. It was really, really funny. I kind of liked the first one more because it had a little bit more heart.
Right.
But the second one had way better action, in my opinion. And it was edited better, if that makes any sense. Some of the newer characters are really good. I really liked Josh Brolin as Cable. I really like Domino. Man, they did her power very good justice. I definitely recommend seeing it if you're a Marvel fan. Even if you're a Deadpool fan, you would super love it. So I definitely
is there an Easter egg at the end of the credits?
Yes, there are two big ones, and I dare say the Easter eggs are better than the whole movie. So please don't miss those. Yeah. Good question. There's two. They run back to back, kind of. So it shouldn't be too hard to miss. So just so you know, you don't have to stay to the very end of the movie. So once they're gone, and you'll know. Just leave. There's no Marvel style at the very end of the credits stinger. So do yourself a favor and get out of there
as quickly as possible.
And just run. Just act like you're in a quiet place and those creatures are coming at you at top
So
speed.
Next question about the movie. There's been I listened to Funhouse talk about it in their podcast Filmhouse. Check it out after listening to us. And
of course.
And they talked about how they pretty much took jokes from the first movie and spliced them into this movie. And that was controversial with the host of the show, because it was like, well, some of the jokes are, this is what Deadpool does.
Yeah. It's like, it's one of those things like, there are a couple of there's like maybe 2 or 3 jokes that are callbacks to the first movie. And one of them's expertly done. It's like that had the biggest pop in the theater when I went to go see it. And some are okay. Like I said, the movie's not, it's not King Lear. You know what I mean? You're going in to see Deadpool,
right.
Pull it up. And from the first movie, you have a very good idea of what that's going to be. This movie wasn't as raunchy as the first one. The first one had a little bit of nudity in it. It just was a little bit more grosser. But this one is a little cleaner in that aspect, but dirtier, because some of the gore and violence in this one is off the charts. Almost reminds me of like an Evil Dead, You know, and he has Evil Dead moments in this movie where it's like, okay, we're just going to show that to children. But you know how America is. You know, God forbid they see a boob, but you can see somebody get like drawn and quartered, and it's just fine.
This is America.
But that's
don't catch me slipping now.
This is America.
Okay.
Don't you have any other questions?
No.
Please.
Next question is there a love scene between Deadpool and Cable? Okay.
Yes. But don't need to
go any farther.
No. I was going to say yes. It's very quick. And it's very unsatisfying for both parties.
Now, if you can get us into the news, I'm going to go find a cough drop. I'll be right back.
Okay, why you find a cough drop? I'm just going to talk about the last thing I did with my week this week. And I watched a documentary on Pet Sematary. The film written by Stephen King. And man, it was extremely fascinating, just kind of diving back into that film. For those who've never read Pet Sematary or don't know what Pet Sematary is, I envy you, because it's one of those where it's like Psycho, where it's like, I wish I saw this again for the first time. I saw Pet Sematary as a child, for those. I was actually a child in the theater with my dad when I went to go see Pet Sematary, maybe around the same age as one of the characters in the film, Gabe. I think it was Gabe. And it burned into my brain forever, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I watched this documentary about the town they filmed in, about the history of the film, how it was too dark to be greenlit at first. And then Stephen King was dead set in directing it in Maine, where the movie takes place, and that was expensive because Maine is way up in the middle of the top of the country. And they just go into so much detail about the graphics, which were none, which was all practical effects. They had to train the cats, and they went back and talked to the cast. Definitely, I recommend it. Watch it. I think it was called Path to the Pet Cemetery. It's on Amazon Prime for free. So I recommend you watch it if you're a fan of the movie. If you've never seen the first Pet Cemetery, please watch it if you're a horror fan. And if you have children, like you have children yourself, then it may be a hard watch for you because that movie's pretty rough. Other than that, that's pretty much what I do with my
Let me add something.
Like winter.
I did watch because it was 1:00 at night. I couldn't fall asleep, so I wanted to watch something on Hulu.
Yeah,
and they have Sabrina the Teenage Witch on there now. And I watched the first episode of it, and I'm like, "What type of garbage did we put on the air back in late?" Like the 90s, 2000s. Like, I want you to, I want you to watch, like, if you have the time, watch the first episode. It's going to be titled Pilot, classic. And
nice.
It's like, I don't know how to be a witch. Oh, that sort of, like this would never fly for a TV show nowadays of how like corny that was. And then you have the animatronic cat, which is like, I bet it's like
Salem, right?
I can see, like, you know how cavemen, when they first see fire, they all freak out. Like you've shown fire to cavemen, and it's like I could see like people blowing their minds are being blown because of this cat.
Yeah.
But if you watch it now, it's like it's garbage.
Here's the thing, man. I remember watching Dinosaurs on TGIF on ABC. And being blown away as a kid. Like, the dinosaurs, they look so real and all this stuff. And I watch it now, and it ages so badly, man. It's just like you can see the cuts in the armor. It's like you can't judge that stuff back then because it was like so rough.
The Twilight Zone, like 50 years before this one. Well, I just want to say 50 years. Was able to do so much more with so little.
Here's the thing about that, man, is that the Twilight Zone had black and white to hide a lot of that stuff. And there are some episodes like Toys in the Attic. I believe that's what the name of it is. Or is that a Cowboy Bebop episode? Oh, my brain starts getting mixed up. Where the little space saucers look garbage, dude.
Right.
Like it's all as how it's done. It's like Final Fantasy VII was like crap compared to like Super Mario World on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard to compare that visually to now. Even and what's funny is the stuff now is going to look garbage in like 10 years from now. It's just the uncanny valley of time, you know. And that cat, as garbage that animatronic was, it could have been worse. It could have been a bad CG cat. You know, like
I would have rather
like
had
Lawnmower Man.
a CG cat, or better yet, have like a small person dress up as a cat. That would have been a lot better than.
I would have just put a damn cat on the show,
And
just
then like put
cat,
peanut butter in its mouth.
and have it talk in mind control. No, just say, oh, he speaks in mind. He speaks in telepathy.
Yeah.
Done. You know,
Yeah.
it's like Alf. Why does Alf look so good? Like Alf to this day looks amazing. I think it's still
until he is ousted from the hashtag Me Too movement. Then we'll have something else to say about Alf.
Yeah, you know, Alf is some dirt, dude. Alf was not a clean person, dude. It's like Chewbacca looks great in Empire.
Right.
I think it's the fur. The fur hides a lot of stuff. And like Harry from Harry and the Hendersons still looks great to this day.
All right.
Fur hides stuff.
You're getting a little crazy there.
Yeah. Did I take it too far? I don't care, man. I'm a wild and crazy guy. Let's get into this news, man. News. This is going to be a heated debate news. There's some stuff going on. Let's talk about the good first. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's talk about the good first. Microsoft announces Xbox One
adaptive controller.
One adaptive controllers for people with disabilities. And it's a first. And it's amazing. And it's smart. And it's very good. Like, I don't see any negatives to this for people who still want a game but may not be handy capable. There's this fighting game, online warrior. His name is Brawly Legs, and he plays a lot of Chun-Li in Street Fighter 4, and he still plays Street Fighter 5.
A lot of Chun-Li.
He has a disability where a lot of Chun-Li, Brawly Legs, because they're so strong and he kicks so fast. And his most of his body is crippled. Like he's pretty much his legs. He can't really move his arms. So the guy has learned to play Street Fighter with his mouth and part of his thumb. And he's like he's the top 5, one of the top 5 Chun-Lis in the world. He's amazing. And for them to create a periphery that may make that a little easier on him is amazing. I mean, it's great. I mean, what else can be said about something like that? I'm surprised it hasn't been done earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like it. I fear that people might try to find an advantage to use it in like typical games, but I'd rather have that be a threat than have people not able to play a game.
People play video games on the weirdest stuff, man. I saw a guy win like a Street Fighter tournament with a damn with a Guitar Hero guitar. Like what? How'd you do that?
Right.
So definitely people are going to get on that tech and bring that to tournaments, and then have to argue with the TO, our tournament organizer, about this is legal. Like, no, man, you're all right. If you can't park in a handicap spot, you shouldn't be able to use the disability controllers. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be legal, because that's not fair. Well, it is fair, I guess. It's like you said, people are going to find weird ways to scum it out that don't need it, so I don't know. We'll see. New controllers, new peripheries is always an exciting time, especially in competitive sports, like our competitive esports, as it were, like first-person shooters, MOBAs, and fighting games, and sports games. So I think it's good on you, Microsoft. Continue to do better. Can you please just put out some games? Put out good games, and I will buy your system. Please. Okay. Let's go into the next article,
here we go.
Which was the ugly, but I'm changing it to the bad. And that's this. And I need to go in on this. That's this new Cartoon Network
3.0.
remake
Thundercats 3.0.
called Thundercats Roar. And
Yep.
literally 3.0. It's literally 3.0, and it's we're going to go into it. So the internet is literally losing its damn mind. It's immediate vitriol towards this thing. And it's for good reason, because the art style is very jarring to what people know Thundercats to be. And for those kitties, hello kitties. That is really bad. Anyway, for the kids who weren't around when Thundercats first started, back in the 80s, it's 80s babies, Thundercats was like the pinnacle of animation back then. It was like Thundercats, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. It was like amazing animation. Thundercats is one of my favorite cartoons of all time. I have a picture of myself at like 7 years old doing a little Thundercats hole with my hands and thumb. That was my dad. He holds that picture. He holds that picture to his heart. I was a nerd back then. So when you see something like that with such crisp animation, it's almost like anime before Japanese animation. You know what I mean? It was that good. And then fast forward to 2011, where they make like an anime style Thundercats show. And it's very good animation. It takes itself seriously, and it was really good. The only problem was they didn't sell any toys. So they canceled it after like one season. And people were up in arms. Why did you cancel my show? People didn't realize that at the time, Cartoon Network was canceling everything. They didn't sell toys. Which like Teen Titans got canceled. The Green Lantern animated series, which was amazing, got canceled. Young Justice got canceled. And so did the Thundercats remake. Fast forward to now, and this guy who has a history of animation, really good animation, mind you, good animation quality, debuts his idea for Thundercats as kind of more of a gumball kind of, almost like an Adventure Time kind of style. Thundercats, where it's really cartoony and very overly animated, and yeah, it looks like what was that one show with the
The Amazing World of Gumball.
It was Gumball, where he had his brother was a fish and he was a cat, and it's like the Amazing World of Gumball, but it's Thundercats. So Lionel looks like a complete cartoon. Everybody looks very low level animated, but it's animated beautifully. Like the dude did the entrance, and there's just a flow of animation. And my gut reaction was, why did you do this to my childhood? Like, I was legit mad. Like, what is this? Why have you done this? I was with everybody else on the internet, just going nuts. And it took me a couple of days to kind of keep going on Twitter, looking at people say, give it a chance. Have you really look at the animation of that intro? This guy knows what he's doing. And it has that Teen Titans Go effect where it's like, I don't want to like it. You know what I mean? Because it's going against what I really want. But what I really wanted, like you said, this is Thundercats 3.0. What I really wanted failed. Maybe not for.
But we needed to fail,
reasons,
though.
But it failed nonetheless.
So that we can get a Thundercats movie.
We have to, and as old nerds, we have to be like, what? Oh my goodness. I'm waiting, like, because once comic book movies die, then 80s cartoon movies.
Well, they're already doing it.
Our Thundercats movie.
Like Lethal Weapon, I mean, those were movies in the 80s, right? And they turned that to a show. I just saw a trailer for Magnum PI coming back. MacGyver's already back.
Oh, interesting.
Was Hawaii Five-0 from the 80s?
MacGyver. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. 70s, 80s.
Well, they already tried, and it already went away.
Trying to bring back Knight Rider. I think Knight Rider's super dead. But it fails. Knight Rider 2000. Don't ever watch that ever. All that to say is that sometimes the stuff isn't made for us, man. It's made for the little kids who don't know what it is. And maybe you have some weird resurgence where it's like, we love Thundercats Roar, and it's like the biggest kid thing. And us old fogies are like, that's not my Thundercats. It's like, well, dude, just watch your old episodes. You know, embrace this new norm, I guess. Gotta grow with change. So at first I was like, I hated this idea and I was going to bash it on the show. But I am going to watch the first 3 episodes. I'm going to give it a fair, good old college try and really give it its due, because it looks like the guy's putting a lot of hard work into it. I need to see what kind of comedy it's going to be, because he's saying that it's going to be a good mix of comedy and a lot of action.
Right.
Very action heavy. I'm like, well, in this art style, how's that going to look? And if it's epic, then what can you say?
Now here's
really,
a question for you. Do you know of any
at this place.
shows on Cartoon Network that solely focus on action anymore? Or do they always add, because it used to be like, off the top of my head, Toonami would come on. It would be like Code Lyoko. I cannot believe I remembered that. I need help.
Yeah.
Code Lyoko.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like Teen Titans, the first iteration.
Pretty rough. Nothing. The first series, but like now Toonami is only relegated to old. But you know what? Toonami is its own thing because its marketing is completely different than Cartoon Network, and they usually just import animes. Like Toonami is going to be getting My Hero Academia soon, the English dubs, and like what they did with Dragon Ball Super, they got that maybe a couple of years ago. And other than that, they just show reruns of Inuyasha and Cowboy Bebop and Hunter x Hunter. You know what I mean? So Cartoon Network as a company has not created any action-based content, I don't think, since, like you said,
right,
old school Kolyoko. But I don't even think that was made via Cartoon Network. I just think they bought the license to run it. Yeah, the last thing that Cartoon Network made,
that's true,
honestly, was maybe the Samurai Jack revival. You know what I mean?
I think, has it already been a year?
Wow. Back like a year ago, right? I think it was like a year ago, maybe 6 months. No, I know it was more than 6 months ago, where they closed the series, and it was beautiful and amazing. So I think that was it. It was like maybe that was like their experiment to see people still care. And yeah, Samurai Jack, people super care, you know. So hopefully this show is hopefully it's 60-40 action to comedy, but I doubt that. It's probably going to be the other way around. But we'll see. If it's funny and if it's action packed, then I can't front on it. It's just going to look different, you know. And I just have to deal with that.
Deal with it.
I don't have to like it, but I'll deal with it, man. Deal with it, and the shades drop over my face. A couple of quick things, and if you have any comments, Winter, just jump in, please. Soul Calibur 6 adds Yoshimitsu, which no one cares but me because I'm the fighting game side of the Nerdiverse. Yoshimitsu has been...
Yeah, he's the guy with the sword, right?
He's the guy with the sword. Since
yeah, and he's 1. He's the third stage evolved form of Yoshi?
Yeah, he spins.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Like there's Yoshi
Island,
egg, and
then there's
Yoshi
Super Mario, and then there's the Tekken series.
Final form, and that's when. Yes. And then there's Tekken, right? So you got to think about it that way. Like if you took off like Yoshimitsu and Lizard Man are the same guy, right? If you take off Yoshimitsu's mask, he becomes Lizard Man because he's a descendant of Yoshi.
Hold on. Let's get real here. Is Lizard Man really connected to Yoshimitsu?
You want to lie, or do you want to tell the truth? You want me to lie?
I want tell the truth.
You can't handle the truth, honestly.
Oh, we went to two different movies.
This is why this is the phrase, what I call it. See, now I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's amazing. That was beautiful. Jake Gyllenhaal is in talks to play Mysterio in the Spider-Man-Homecoming sequel.
Isn't also first Batman also supposed to be there? Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
Michael Keaton. Okay.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's coming back as the Vulture, supposedly, in the sequel to Homecoming as well. And my personal thought about it is I think Jake Gyllenhaal is too good of an actor to waste on a throwaway villain. And I love Mysterio. He's a cool fish bulb-headed magician. But
yeah,
I think Jake Gyllenhaal would have a better fit in the MCU as somebody else. Honestly. Like
the Joker. Oh, that's MCU. That's not MCU.
The Joker. But no, man, like I like Mysterio, and I think Mysterio needs to be on the big screen at some point because he's a very cinematic villain, full of smoke and mirrors, and he will look great. He will look great if they done him right. But Jake Gyllenhaal is such a good actor that I don't think he would be a better fit as a leading man, even maybe Mr. Fantastic somewhere down the road. And funny enough, he may make a pretty good Wolverine too. Like Jake is like after I saw Southpaw, he can do veracity, but with the best of them. Like man, Jake could be a beast.
All right, to quote someone we were talking about, to say that he would be a good Wolverine is blasphemous.
I'm sorry. Mark my words. He will make a good Wolverine. He has the height. He has the muscle.
If you're gonna go the route of Jake Gyllenhaal, just you have to. Okay, but you have to leap over several other candidates.
Well, yeah.
For instance, Liev Schreiber. Is it Liev Schreiber? I'm thinking of that.
Yeah, Liev Schreiber was already Sabretooth, so he doesn't count. He can't. Yeah.
Do you think they care about continuity?
No, they super don't. No, if Human Torch could be Captain America, they super don't care. So fair enough.
Right. Or like Chris Pratt could be up there.
Chris Pratt's already Star-Lord, dude.
Dude, you need to relax, all right?
I'm sorry.
Josh Brolin's already two people in the MCU.
But he's not two people in the MCU. He's a person. He's Thanos in the MCU, and he is Cable in the dying X universe of Fox. So that's fine. Just have Chris Pratt be on the screen at the same time. Have him be Star-Lord and then have him be Wolverine. That'd be dope. And just give him a little more scruff. Yeah. They're wasting the talent on that, dude. They're wasting talent. I'm going to skip over one because I really don't care. It's pretty much just Toho's being a butt about Godzilla, and they want to make a Toho version of the cinematic universe of Godzilla monsters, but Legendary's already doing it with their stuff, with Kong and Godzilla, so whatever. Moving on. What I want to talk to you about is the recent trailers for Battlefield 5 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Yeah, baby!
I want your thoughts on this, because it's looking like it's going to be a Battle Royale cuddle puddle, and I want to see if you're cool with that, with games that you actually love. Like, how's your perspective on it?
Well, first of all, I think it's a great idea that they got rid of the campaign. That's what. I'm in the minority of this.
Wow.
Yes.
That's controversial.
Yes. They spend too much time working on the campaign that they should be working on perfecting the multiplayer. And this has always been it in the recent Call of Duty games. This has been an issue where the campaign will last you for a couple of days, but the multiplayer is what everyone bought the game for, people. So I don't know. I'm getting spirited. Like I have the spirit of a certain sports analyst in my head. What's happening now is Call of Duty is actually looking out on the landscape, seeing what to add. Because Black Ops, I believe, the company that creates Black Ops is always like willing to go the extra mile or like go step into like the muck. So it sees like the battle royale system is being pretty popular. So now they're doing a feature, which I think is going to become now a trend for several games. It's going to be like a game mode that they offer of battle royale. So Call of Duty's getting their own game mode of battle royale. So instead of like PUBG, Fortnite, pretty much. Well, let's just say Fortnite, pretty much. All the other ones and the rest.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they all focus on just battle royale, while Call of Duty, I believe, is pushing the envelope, going, look, Battle Royale is going to be an integral part of the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 experience. But we also have your classic multiplayer with some minor twists, as well as your classic zombies with some twists. And
let me just. Oh, sorry.
And I think I'm definitely going to buy it. I'm sad that this would take me away from playing World War II for a little bit, but trust me, there's another game coming out that will take care of that, which we can talk about later.
Absolutely. Now, I have a question for you. Do you feel that Fortnite is going to feel any heat from this for all these?
No.
Do you think and the rest is going to affect Fortnite on any level?
No. There's no way, because Fortnite has a core group of people that stream it, and people watch those streams because Fortnite, what if they're a really good player, is like a beauty to see. Like you're watching like these beautiful constructions happen. While Call of Duty, it might be fun to watch like a minute of play. I would not watch a stream of it. I might watch like a tip video, like five ways to improve your KD sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you might see people going to it for like a couple of weeks, but then it will chill down. It will relax after a while.
Now, in regards to Fortnite, I mean, Titanfall, like Overwatch, it's the biggest thing in the world at some point, right?
Right.
And now that's kind of taking the back seat to the Battle Royale movement that just literally gut-checked the entire industry.
Right.
I could see Battle Royale games being the forefront of most multiplayer maps going forward, maybe the next 5 years. It's such a fresh take on something people have done since GoldenEye 007. Do you see the major community for Call of Duty and for Battlefield shifting their gaze from the standard, what we know as a multiplayer map, to Battle Royale, and that becoming the focal point in these games? Or do you think loyalists will stay true to their modes and play the the Battle Royale versions more sparingly?
What I see, if I was in Call of Duty's shoes, they have tournaments for the other modes of Call of Duty. What they should do is have a tournament, a feeler tournament, we'll call it, for the this new Battle Royale. They call it Blackout, the Battle Royale mode. And would start developing a community that is strictly like Call of Duty Battle Royale enthusiasts. And it could very well be that this is something that they keep adding to games, because there was a time where there was no zombies in any Call of Duty game. And then and then they added it, and now both sides are competing on who's going to have the best zombies game. Right. Black Ops or regular Call of Duty.
And I would see this as more as a fad, because a lot of people are calling it a fad.
Yeah.
But I think fads that last a test of time are just turned into genres, right? Like everybody thought that the Marvel Cinematic Universe was going to be a fad, right? When it first came out with Iron Man and Thor, but now it's a genre, right? It's its own living, breathing section of the zeitgeist. And I think Battle Royale games is the next evolution of multiplayer shooters, in that way.
Right. Well, it is now its own genre. Like, going back to like game modes being added to games, like when I remember playing Halo 3 in a hot what do you call those things? A garage. Garage with like 3 different Xbox plugged in, and making our own infection mode. Infection wasn't a mode built into the game. I don't think at Halo 3, maybe Halo 2. But anyways, it was the next game after that developers saw that players were doing this, and then they added infection. Same thing goes for the mod for Warcraft 3.
Right.
where it was like you had your heroes and then you were battling other heroes while there were smaller armies facing each other, and then the heroes can buy like loot and new weapons and potions, and that eventually turned into Dota, I believe, and then now you have League of Legends.
Isn't it crazy how that works out? Like you were mentioning, sweaty garages in Halo is the birth of like LAN parties. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
like combos in fighting games was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be that way.
Amazing things happen in garages, sweaty garages.
More than you think,
Yeah.
Very, very good, very good. Last bit of news of the day is that the CW has announced the introduction of Batwoman to the CW Arrowverse or the Arrow Flashverse.
Yes. Now I have a joke for this that I wrote.
Go for it.
So I have to do like a monologue thing. Like, so have you heard about this? The CW is going to be introducing Batwoman in the superhero universe called the Arrowverse. Now, hopefully, they can introduce an audience.
That's actually
okay. Thank you very much.
The Arrowverse is quite popular, man. I mean, these shows have taken over the CW. Like, there's Jane the Virgin, and there's the Supernatural, which has been on forever. And the Arrowverse is going strong, man. They're adding shows. Black Lightning was a pseudo hit. And
so why does DC treat it like the bastard child of
I'm gonna tell you a secret
of the world?
Exactly. Well, the problem with that is that the DC Warner Brothers machine doesn't know what the hell they're doing. That's the easy answer.
Right.
People don't know what they're doing. And they're kind of just now starting to slow down and kind of get a better grasp on what they want to do. Like ever since Justice League, I think they've just been like, you know what? We're just going to pause all of this and be quiet. Probably clear until Comic-Con with what their true intentions are going forward. I mean, they've mentioned the DC Universe streaming network, which I think is a good idea for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're slowly putting out stuff for Shazam and for Aquaman without any really big fanfare because they have no right to kind of have their chest out right now. They're on damage control. So for them to introduce Batwoman to the CW is a very interesting step into the pond that is the Bat family because it's actually the smartest choice between everyone because Kathy Can is the most separated from the Bat family. You can't introduce Robin or Batgirl or Nightwing yet because that's way too close to Batman. And for some reason, they're very skittish about having their CW version of Batman because it's so close to Arrow. You know what I mean? They're pretty much the same character. And the moment Batman shows up, it's like relationship George meeting friend George.
Right?
It's the same analogy where it's like the moment Batman walks into the door, he will kill the Arrow show. Right? It's just going to happen. So they're like, we can't. Stephen Amell's like, please don't introduce Batman until I'm ready to end this thing. They may not ever introduce Batman because he's too much of a threat to that show, the birth of all of this.
Right.
So who can you introduce? Batwoman. She can be from an alternate Earth. She can be from their Earth. But Gotham has been mentioned in the CW. Even Bruce Wayne has been mentioned in the CW. But I think they're so afraid to have Batman and Arrow in the same room and have the fans go, huh? Or even the CW has their version of Superman, which is not Henry Cavill. Like you say, it's all separated. So I think this is like their toe into the water, kind of like what they did with Supergirl. Oh, we eventually want our own Superman, but let's do Supergirl first, right?
Right.
Like that toe in the water into this entire side universe, which is Krypton and Kryptonians and Superman, So I think this is a good idea, and I'm wondering where they're going to debut her. It would make sense for her to be like on maybe if not Arrow, then maybe like the Heroes. What is it called? Heroes of Tomorrow, Legends of Tomorrow.
Heroes of tomorrow now and not yesterday.
Now. Become a hero tomorrow, not now. Be a hero yesterday, not next week.
Yeah. There's too many superhero movies or too many superhero shows.
Nah, man. Not enough. Until we get the Trevor Fitzroy show, it's not too much, man. If you don't know who or what a Trevor Fitzroy is, don't look at me. Just do me a favor. Are you ready to answer some questions, Winter?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. So if you want to ask us a question, tell me who's your favorite superhero that you know will never get a TV show. Send that to mastersofthenerdiversecast@gmail.com. That's mastersofthenerdiversecast@gmail.com. We're all going to get sued now. First question. Have you ever met someone that has rationally loved something that you hate so much? Not fanboying or fangirling, but it's like, yeah, I like that, and I have my reasons. And you're just like, I can't argue with you. Fine. You can like,
Trump supporters. No, I'm just kidding. Something that I hate. There is one of my friends likes to eat like those frozen burritos, and he'll either have ranch or barbecue sauce with them.
That's raunchy. Literally.
And I'm like, you are a serial killer. This is what serial killers do. And he doesn't answer. He doesn't deny. He just goes, Winter, you're being overly dramatic. He doesn't say that he's not a serial killer.
Yeah. I have a buddy that loves Aliens Resurrection and will say that's the best one. And it just irritates me to no end. But he likes it for his reasons, which is mostly that weird alien sex scene with Ripley, and Ron Perlman's in it. That's as much as he's thought it through. The best one. And I'm like,
it's not a Hellboy crossover.
Right? I've tried to explain this to him. I was like, better than Aliens. He's like, I didn't like that one.
No.
Like Aliens. Directed by James Cameron. Game Over, man. Game Over.
James Cameron.
James Cameron. No, doesn't like it. Better than Alien. Directed by now insane hermit Ridley Scott. No, it's too slow. What did you like? The basketball scene? Is that what you like? Where Ripley shot it over her head and it went swoosh? He's like, that was tight though. And I'm like, I'm gonna let you live, man. I'm gonna let you live, though. You're the type of person who eats pizza sideways, and that's fine. You know, I'm a weirdo myself.
You gotta fold it.
You gotta fold. The best pizzas are the ones that you can fold. That's what a New Yorker taught me once. If your pizza doesn't fold, it's not pizza, bro. Next question. Yeah. Yes, sir. What's the everyday sound that you hear that just sends shivers down your spine? Like you hear it out of nowhere, and you immediately just like, oh, you're on point. You're on nerve.
Well, I noticed that my neighbor, she has buckets of rocks, and she was showing them to me, and she was like, they were rubbing against each other, and it made that like chalk feeling, like that grit noise, and it made like my body like shake, or like ooh, it shivers down my spine.
Man, like I don't know. Yeah. For me, I don't know why, but little girls, when they are having fun, they just want to scream. You know, like this high-pitched scream. You know what I mean? And I have my neighbors, which are right next to me, and whenever they have parties and stuff, I just hear shrieking children. And it sounds like they're either being hurt or they're just scared to death. And it always ticks something in my brain that makes me want to hop the gate and see if everything's okay. And I know it's just them like on a water slide or something.
Yeah.
But the sound of children screaming, even in joy, just triggers something in my brain where I'm just like, Captain America mode.
I gotta ruin this for him.
I gotta go in there and be the wet blanket. Stop enjoying yourself. But no, just the sound of children like laughing to the point where it's almost like high pitched howling. It just tweaks a part of my brain where I'm just like, I'm on alert. I'm like that one SpongeBob meme where he's a caveman. He's just, right? You're just looking around for danger. That shit bothers me to no end. Yeah, enough on that. Last question, which is more of a hypothetical, but I like the way your brain thinks, and I think you'll be able to rock with this one really good. Really quick.
All right.
Pitch me a romance comedy as a horror movie, and then pitch me a horror movie as a romance comedy.
Okay, here we go. Romance comedy. So we could do, I'm thinking of a From Dusk Till Dawn type scenario where the first half of the movie is about this guy meeting this woman at like a dating service at a bar sort of thing. And we'll typecast it as like Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston reuniting on the screen. And so then flash forward to they get married, and then on their honeymoon, they go to a town in Africa, secluded. No, not a town in Africa. They go to an island. They go to an island where they're by themselves. They're the only people on the island. So they think. They actually discover that there was a testing facility on the site where they've left one of the tubes intact of this creature, and you don't know what the creature looks like until the very end, and it's just them being chased around the island by this creature. And this is where you start getting your marketing cap on. You can either do two things. They get rescued by a big ship that contains the creature, and they take the creature back onto the mainland, which you discover that the creature looks exactly like the creatures in A Quiet Place. What I'm saying is, this is a prequel to A Quiet Place. Okay. That's one idea.
I'm with you. I was like, is this the relic?
The second idea is that when they revealed the creature, it turns out that this is part of the Cloverfield series.
Paradox. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's just
So you want a horror movie as a romance comedy. Okay. So you will take another trope of a bunch of teenagers going to a house for the weekend, sort of thing. And we'll give another trope of a serial killer who's killing all the kids, except for one girl, that it turns into that the whole movie is him trying to explain why he killed all these people and why she should love him for the way he is, because he loves her the way she is. And then and then wackiness ensues because it will be like a tongue-in-cheek, like, I guess I'll go outside for a bit. Oh, no! That sort of stupid stuff. It'll be like a slapstick. And it's not as good as an idea as my first one, but it could be a Cabin in the Woods spinoff.
Oh man, good. Loving it. Okay. I'm going to do my horror into a romance comedy, and you tell me what you think it is, what it's based off of. So just freestyling off the top of my head. So I want to do a movie about a womanizer who's gone through his life being handsome and has always gotten the girl he's wanted, right? He's never really fallen in love, and he's just constantly playing women like a player. And something in the movie happens where he becomes horribly disfigured and dies. He becomes, let's say, cut up by glass or something. But his spirit only exists in a dreamlike state. So he's dead, but his essence exists in the dream world. So now, rather than visit women physically, he begins to invade their dreams and becomes the love of their lives via the dreams they have. And for each woman he visits, he has encounters with them to the point where if they're, let's say, holding his shirt and they wake up, they'll just have his shirt in the real world. And he finds the perfect woman that he wants to fall in love with, but he can't be with her ever physically because his body's already dead. So at the end of the movie, she finds a way to drag him back to the real world, and they fall in love and stay happily ever after. And it's called Man of My Dreams. What do you think?
It's like Alfie mixed in with Ghost, or what's another one that I don't know. What were you thinking?
Like an Alfie mixed with like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, but I did get the Alfie part right.
So I think that's kind of disturbing.
Okay.
But here's my romantic comedy into horror. So there's this creep who has an unhealthy fixation with this woman, and he kidnaps her and beats her over the head to subdue her, a la like Silence of the Lambs. And he keeps her in his house, right?
Black Snake Moan.
And she can't. She because of the damage to her head, she has a form of amnesia where she can never remember where she is. So he's tricking her to think that they've been married for years and she's at home. So every day she wakes up, he has to re-trick her that she doesn't catch wind that he actually kidnapped her. And many years pass, and people have been looking for her this whole time. And the private detective finally finds that she's been stuck in this home dealing with Stockholm Syndrome with this kidnapper, fooling her into thinking that they've had this life together. He's taken pictures with them. They've had children at this point. And he has to rescue her from this kidnapper who would stop at nothing to keep her at home. I based it off of 50 First Dates.
All right. I thought you had three movies in there. You had Black Snake Moan.
Yeah.
You had Misery a little bit.
Yes.
And then you also had Overboard.
In my brain, I was thinking, okay, 50 First Dates is kind of the creepiest idea ever. And that can swing into a horror if she doesn't want it, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the difference between us. I don't go automatically to Adam Sandler. I don't think of Adam Sandler movies.
I've never really meshed with 50 First
Dates.
It's just such a creepy concept. Adios mio, man. So what do you?
So what would they call a sequel of 50 First Dates? By the way,
50 First Bases.
100. It could be 100 first dates. It could be 51. It could be 52 first dates.
That's a strong one.
Oh
man.
Yeah.
Netflix and right. Thrill. You know. So lame. What are you looking forward to this week, man?
Well, May 29th, season 5 of Arrested Development comes out on Netflix. And the crowd goes wild. And I'm also finishing the final season 4 of The Strain, which is now out on Hulu. And I might take a nap.
I'm really looking forward to is that one of my favorite bad horror movies of all time, Rawhead Rex, has been restored to HD. And it's on Amazon Prime for purchase. So as soon as I get a little bit of money in my pocket, I'm going to watch me some Rawhead Rex for the first time in like 10 years. Because it's one of those movies that never got reissued and super old and beautiful and stupid and awesome. So I'm really looking forward to Rawhead Rex. What I'm not looking forward to, yes.
The Clive Barker Rawhide Rex?
What you know about Rawhead Rex? You know nothing.
I just looked it up right now.
So I love it. And every person I've subjected to it hates me for it. So Rawhead Rex is the best. No one can tell me anything about it. One thing I'm not looking forward to is Solo, a Star Wars story, which I'm going to have to drag myself to go see so I can have an opinion on it.
I'm Solo.
Han
I'm Solo.
Solo. So I have to go see that crap. We'll see. I'm going to go in there with the lowest expectations, and I'll give you my honest 2 cents about it. We'll see. People are gassing it up, and I don't like that feeling. Seems like money is making it good. I don't like that.
It's Ron Howard.
Ron Howard Rex. That's the name of the podcast. I'm super hype about that. That's so dumb. Yeah. Ron Howard Rex.
It was either good. It has to be this now. I thought you were gonna turn it into Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown versus Ron Howard Rex. That's so dumb. Okay. Any thoughts? Any final thoughts before we close this bad boy
out? Try to avoid taking lisinopril for blood pressure. It gives you a persistent cough.
You know what? I've been taking lisinopril for my blood pressure for maybe 5 years. Never had a problem.
Well,
it reacts to people differently.
Yeah, 1/3 of the population gets this cough. It sometimes means that you're allergic to it, but my doctor wants me to stay on it for a little while longer. So
tell that bastard that you're coughing it up, and it's not comfortable to the winter throats.
No, I mean it does feel like sometimes like it's a dry cough sort of thing.
That sucks. Yeah. Well, hopefully they switch you out, bro.
Yeah.
Yes. Take your meds, ladies and gentlemen, unless you know a good herbal supplement so you don't have to. I'm trying to get off lisinopril because I don't like being held down by big pharma. And I want to start just lowering my blood pressure naturally with garlic and eating better and stuff like that. But if you have a med, take your med till you figure out how to not take it no more. That's my 2 cents about it. Oh, good business. If you've listened to the show and you've liked the show and you would like to support what we do so we can keep on going, please visit our website, which is mastersofthenerdiversecast.com. There you can actually listen to old episodes of the podcast where you hear me actually trying to dislocate the lament configuration and the wackiness that ensues. You can also find us on Patreon. If you want to kick a couple of shillings our way, it will definitely help with the production of the show. And if you want to help us in a less money ways, then you can actually just leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the device that you're using to listen to us. May it be on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or Google Play. Or if you're listening to us in the future through Spotify, please leave us a like. Because the future is now. The future is now. The future is now. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G.
And I'm your host, Winchester.
And we will always ask you to take that one step beyond coughing.